Hey, what's up, Warriors? Coach JV, your top health and mindset coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And you know, this is my favorite time of the week to be with Cryptocito. And my favorite part about it is seeing that he has a new background every single time we meet. This guy is a world travelers. So as people get on, so we know you're settled in Portugal, right? Tell us a little bit about where you're settled in and how's life, man? How's things going?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me back on. Unfortunately, last week it was a bit hectic, but great to be back on. And yeah, man, I'm in Lisbon. I'm in Portugal. Great place. I'm really surprised, like how the people are, the culture, the food, everything is really amazing here, and it's all pretty calm. I don't like when city, those large cities where everyone's rushing and running to office. Here, everyone's really relaxed, really chilled. They're sitting here at noon with the first glass of wine,
Nice.
have their first grilled octopus or whatever. So it's really cool vibes. I love it. And so this is actually my new place here. So this background is going to be staying for the next few months.
Gotcha.
Just moved in here and gonna stay here for the next months.
Gotcha. So what that means is, since you're going to be stabilized, once my passport shows up, I'm getting on a plane to come see you, man.
Yeah, man, that would be
sure.
awesome, man.
For
You
sure.
will love it.
Do you have any idea how long the flight is from America?
I think it's you're on the West Coast, right? Near the West Coast. So it should be around a 9 to 10 hour trip.
That's not bad.
Something
That's
like that.
I could shoot up for there
It's
for a
not
week.
that bad, yeah.
Awesome.
Portugal is right at the west western part, the most western part of Germany, of Europe, actually. So
Gotcha.
it's closer for you to come here than, for example, to Germany or Italy, for example. It's further for you. So yeah, man, would be great to have you here and make content together. We can walk through the city, make cool videos. The people are super friendly and open. It would be really nice.
That would be awesome. So, well, since we missed last week together, we were both super busy, but man, shit hit the fan a couple weeks ago. Market down 50%, the crazy market going on. People were freaking out. But I do want to start out by saying thank you to you and Selman. I got to give a big shout out to you guys because of the education I've got from you guys. Now, remember, I'm very transparent with my Warriors here. We got a lot of Warriors already online with us. Is that, I wasn't in the market in 2017. I wasn't in the crypto market. I was actually in banking. I was on the dark side, right? And I transitioned about a year and a half ago. But because aligning myself with people like you, Selman, have really helped me become a great crypto investor, number one, and number two, to really understand the market. And so what are you seeing? Is there some similarities from 2017? So what I saw from a banking perspective, I was taking it from the manipulation of the elites, right? And so what's happening is there's a lot of announcements back end of April for banks talking about custodying cryptocurrency. You had Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan adding more crypto custody, things like that. Bank of America just coming out of the woodworks with crypto custody, all the sediment out there, but then all of a sudden the market collapses about 50%. So what are you seeing in the market? What was your thoughts on everything that happened?
Yeah, first of all, I'm also, even though I'm invested in that space now, literally all in with all my money since 4 years, it really hurt me to see, how the market crashed,
Yeah.
And it always, like, inside of me, my heart bleeds when I see that, when I see that we have such nasty, crazy crashes, and people start to hate crypto because they lose money, right? Personally, with my portfolio, I'm relaxed, I got my long-term positions. I'm chilled, I'm good. But I know a lot of people, especially who are joining new to the space and have this experience for the first time, it really hurts.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked about this extensively, man. Like, if you invest in strong fundamentals, you're probably going to do well. But if you invest into something that you don't even know what it is, what it does, how it works, what's the value proposition, and then you lose a lot of money in very short time, it's not good, right? It's a net negative game.
Right.
So that's always the downside of those things. And obviously, the way I see it, I've just been crazy busy over the past week, so I haven't really try to figure out very deeply what actually happened. But what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've read and researched is that this seems to be one of those coordinated dumps, or one of those coordinated sell-offs, which is not a conspiracy. It's actually, that's how markets work, right? Especially compared to commodity markets, compared to financial markets and all the traditional space. Crypto is kind of like an illiquid playground, right, for them, right, for those things. If you put it into a big perspective, right? So, for example, one example is, how many exchanges do we have? We have Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, OKX, FTX, but you can count them on two hands, right? There's not many exchanges. So the bottom line is, it doesn't really take much, and you also have to think about it. If it doesn't take much time and much money to go up, it also doesn't take much time and money to go down, right? So we are still early, and that's also another side effect of being early. It's the extreme volatility and the extreme risks, the risks that are attached to this, especially if you buy charts at the very peak. And I've warned people to buy into Dogecoin, for example, at 75 cents, or into SafeMoon or Shiba Inu or other coins, right? At their very peaks. But here we are, we're still alive, we survived it. I don't think this is a bear market. I rather think it's a coordinated sell-off. I might be wrong. This might be also the beginning of a multi-year bear market, but I don't see that. And there's actually some on-chain stuff that I also wanted to share later. Maybe I can share my screen and share some insights. But I don't see this the beginning of the end. I rather see this the last invitation, to fill your bags and get ready. Because there's just so many things in the pipeline. And answering your question about similarities that I've seen with other scenarios like that, I actually see more analogies with this dump that we just had to the 2020 dump, right? The March 2020 dump, when we had the first lockdowns, the first, liquidity crash and liquidity crisis in all financial markets, and everything crashed, right? And crypto was really, really hardly affected from that. But what happened after that, right? Was it the end for crypto? No, it was the beginning of a crazy, crazy run that pushed BTC from 3,000 to almost more than 60,000. ETH went from $80-$90 to 4,000 something, right? So those crashes can for some are a curse, for some it's a blessing. But I see similarities to the 2020 March crash, not to the 2017 bull run too much, because this crash that we've seen has actually been, it has been 45-50%, which is pretty nasty.
Yep. And I think one thing is to think about too is the manipulation, right? Is people have to understand as you're getting into this, if you're so like you said, if you're a new investor, it really hurt bad because you probably lost 50% of your portfolio, right? If you're a long-term holder like we are, right? It was a hit, but we're still way up over the year. So it's something to really think about fundamentally. Like, you have to know that the market is manipulated. The stock market is manipulated. Any type of market where you can where people who have money can fluctuate, right? The people who control the money, control the information, control the people, right? So you have to know that. So that's why we always teach people. We teach them the game so they can't be played. As you're looking this way at a Dogecoin narrative and a Dogcoin narrative and getting everybody confused, they're building their Bitcoin portfolios, right? And so what I saw happen was Ray Dalio, which is crazy. He is a highly touted economist, and that's how I learned a lot of my stuff around the economy. He literally has always danced around. He said cash is trash, never admitted he was in Bitcoin, and just recently admitted that he was in Bitcoin. And I'm like, done. When he said that, Ray Dalio, if you understand, Ray Dalio verbalizing that was a massive. This guy is like, he said, I would rather have Bitcoin than a bond. And he said that, I'm like, done. Like, literally, there is probably so many institutions behind the scenes investing in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general, right? And so they're all getting their portfolios packed up, and they want that confusion. Just, that's what I teach. I teach the game, right? They want to make it look real icky, they want to make it look, the SNL thing, the Dogecoin. It's like, look at this. This is fantasy economics. When there's people like you and I and a lot of other crypto people out there that are really building fundamental portfolios. And so I feel the same way you do. I think I feel that we're, number one, we're super early. I mean, it's a very immature market, as you talked about. But what's going to happen within the next I think until 2025, they're going to start bringing in regulation. A lot of bad actors are going to get wiped out, and people just have to have those diamond hands, just stick with the fundamentals. And so one of the things that like I told people, I've been telling people, you got to have a strategy, man. You got to have a game plan. And I just have fallen in love with a couple protocols and really dived into those at a deep level. And so there's a lot of things so I'm feeling like I have this sentiment, man. June, I feel like is going to be a big month. Here's why. And we're actually going to be breaking. I'm going on a spiritual journey coming up. I'll be gone for about 10 days. Don't worry, warriors. We'll have videos every single day. I'll do a pre-recorded video with Cryptocito. But there's a lot happening. And so I'm not sure if you're too familiar with banking wise, Basel III, the banks now have to go from paper gold on reserves to actual physical gold on reserves to have riskier assets. So there's a lot of stuff. You got the Flare network dropping in June. You got the Basel III hitting, the Basel III rules for banks hitting in June, which is really interesting. And they're saying that interest rates might go up, and it's going to be a really interesting summertime. So what are you feeling in the marketplace? I know you talked about the sentiment of, maybe not a bear market, but what is your strategy? You're still holding long-term, all that?
Yeah, so I'm still holding all of my positions actually, and I'm actually trying to stack more, with those dumps. The last time I bought crypto with fiat was actually in February. I think I only bought twice or three times with fiat. But I might do it again now. I mean, it's I'm just, whenever, for example, one price target gets hit of my coin, I usually shift it into another coin. Gotcha. Because I think risk reward wise, it makes more sense. I'm still at that stage. But right now with those prices, man, I'm really tempted to buy more and load up on the dips,
Yeah, that's what I did, man. I stacked up. I was like, I had money on the sidelines actually for some silver, and so that's the thing about a exit strategy is it's a moving target, right? So I had money sitting on the sideline to buy more silver, and right when it dumped, man, I was actually celebrating because I'm long term. I mean, it could collapse down to freaking 70% drop. I'm staying in all my cryptocurrencies, and so I'm not, I wouldn't bail. And so somebody asked me like, didn't you sell off? And don't you panic? And I'm like, no, I ride the wave down and I sell on my exit strategy going up, and I accumulate at the bottom. And so like what I've been telling people is like, somebody's always simplicity. Someone's selling, someone's buying, right? So when you're panic selling, we're buying your crypto, right? And so I think that's a simple way to look at it. And then when someone is, when we're buying, right, we're buying up their fear. We're buying up their fear. And when we're selling, they're buying our euphoria. We're buying their euphoria. And so, and I know it's not that simple, but it's an easy way to look at it. And so like I learned that from Warren Buffett, man. He buys blood in the streets. And so an interesting thing too to talk about is the housing market, man. And then we'll go into some, I know you're going to show us some stuff, but it's really getting weird with housing, man. Like it's becoming super expensive here in America. Housing, lumber prices are going up. The inflation's going up. Houses in Arizona are literally the prices. My brother put his house on the market before it even hit the market. It sold in 15 minutes at like 40, I think it was like 40,000 over asking value. And so like there's something going on that people have to understand, and it's not good for the US dollar. So that's one thing. So tell us about Portugal, man. I want to hear a little bit about that before we go into
let me just add one thing to that, because I think it's also now I think the ECB came out, the European Central Bank, and other commercial banks, and there seems to be now, they seem to be preparing us for a massive inflation, with the euro, with the dollar. And it's obvious, because 30% of the entire US dollar that exists have been printed over the past 2 years, right? Yep. So they have just printed so much cash, and not all of that, but most of it eventually ends up somehow in the economy, right? So the point is that with so many banknotes printed and so much cash, well, not physically, but obviously it gets injected into the economy also with those airdrops that you got in the US, especially the helicopter money. This has to be somehow priced in. And at the same time, everything was closed, right? At the same time, we had lockdowns, so people couldn't even spend it. So what do? You hoard cash at home, which somehow then how should it retain its value, Right. So there's no circulation in that sense anymore. And I think we're going to see a massive inflation of of our current forms of currencies, right? The euro, the US dollar. That's why also I think we're going to be talking about this a lot over the next 6 months, central bank digital currencies, because they are coming and they're now announcing the Korean central bank, the Chinese central bank, the ECB, even the Fed, right? They're all announcing progress on that front, and it's going to come. And I also anticipate that they are going to build on crypto infrastructure, right? They're going to build on public chains that we know from the crypto space. It might be the XRP ledger, it might be Ethereum, it might be Cosmos, it might be Hedera Hashgraph, right? There's so many things. And if you prepare for that, and you also put some eggs into deflationary assets like gold, like silver, but also like Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to be ultra scarce, even scarcer than Bitcoin from July when they implement this massive tech upgrade, right? So it really makes sense to also diversify into those assets, especially crypto assets, because not only are they more scarce and also more predictable, plus you can hold self-custody, but on top of that, you can even generate cash flow. I mean, what more do you want, right? So that's why I think on a macro level, this is one of the main reasons why I believe that this run is not over yet, because I think there's going to be a massive crash on the financial system that we're having right now.
Yes.
And also, I wanted to add one point to that. What you said earlier, I think you said who controls the money controls the masses, right? Something like that. And you see that in crypto. That's what I wanted to get earlier at the very beginning when I said, how many exchanges do we currently have? These exchanges control the money in crypto, right? They hold thousands of BTC in their reserves, and they can just do with the markets whatever they want, right? Yeah. So I think after all this crash, right? I hope you didn't panic sell if you're watching this. I hope you didn't panic sell the bottom, because like you're saying, if you panic sell the bottom, someone else is buying the blood, is buying your emotions, is buying your fear. And so that's what I wanted to say. Man, about Lisbon, again, it's a great place. I really hope you can come here, man. And we're also building a crypto community here. There's a lot of interest. I was literally, in a restaurant, and I heard next table they were talking about crypto, like just a million people, So we started having a conversation about crypto. There's meetups going on here every single week. I think tomorrow is the next one. So, man, this place is on fire. People here are really curious to get into crypto, to trade it, to learn about it, and maybe even use it somehow.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And the coolest thing about this is bringing these communities together. And I want people to know, there's 171 people watching this right now, and you have to realize, think about this, there's 7 billion people in the world, and people, I think a lot of people got really frustrated last weekend, right? So, I was getting messages from all over the world, oh, what do I do? I'm like, nothing, sit tight, sit tight. Build fundamentals, have diamond hands, right? Understand what you're invested in. You're literally just like you're invested in the internet when it came out, right? And there was a bubble, it collapsed, right? And those who hung on became the richest people in the world, the richest people in the world. There's people that panic sold that the internet boom, right? They panic sold, they got out, and the people, there was oil boom, all that stuff. And it's the people who stayed from the first to the second to third, and third to fourth industrial revolution. And you taught me Web 3.0, which I'm going deep into, understanding moving from computing to connectivity, right? And then people are talking a lot about materials in the comments here, materials, you have to move where the market is going, right? You don't want to stay where the market's at. It's where is the market going? AI, technology, Web 3.0, connectivity. We are heading to a crypto environment, warriors. That is a fact. I always tell people, stop getting advice from people wearing a beeper and a fanny pack. We are heading to the quantum financial system. So you wanted to show some stuff? Did you want to show some charts?
Yeah, let me just to put the frame. So if you want to really make money in crypto, there's only one way, right? You have to buy low and you have to sell high. Okay, so that's the only way. Now, what that actually means is it means that you should buy red, you should buy fear, and you should sell green. You sell greed, right? So, and there's actually only two ways how you can do that, or how you can multiply and leverage your potential gains in crypto, right? So the number one thing, or the first thing, is you can buy early, right? You can buy very early and you hodl on forever. Those guys who bought Bitcoin in 2010, 2011, 2012, most of them didn't have diamond hands, right? So they sold pretty early probably, or they lost their keys or whatever. So you either buy in very early, you forget about it, and you check 10 years later, wow, cool, it actually went up. Or you really stick in the industry, and that's what I'm doing. That's what you're also doing.
Yep.
You stick in the industry, and you try to load up on the dips, right? You try to load up on the dips, and you try to ride those waves, right? You try to ride those waves, bull and bear. You get into stable coins. You have an exit strategy. You have a clear game plan, right? You don't. You really have to be on top of the game here, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I think is also the most exciting about it, right? Because at the same time, like we were saying, it's not just about the money aspect, but it's also about, we're also networking, we're connecting people, we're connecting with each other, we're building a whole new internet, right? The Web3.
Yeah.
So I find that path much more exciting, and I really invite everybody to also try to get to get on that level where you are sensitive to the market, as in like you understand and you feel the market a little bit better, right? And you can only do that with getting increased skin in the game, right? So the longer you stay around with, that's why if you're watching this now and you just started to invest into crypto 2 or 3 weeks ago, don't worry, stick with it, learn from it, research, right? Conduct your own due diligence, your own research, read white papers, harvest entire crypto YouTube, right? Listen to all those YouTubers as in information sources, and then take your own decisions from there. So I just wanted to get that out first.
Yeah,
and then
too, like I just wanted to jump in there, like community is so important, right? You can't hang out with people who don't believe in, or who are like half in crypto, half out of crypto, or investors, right? That are panic sellers. Like if you're a drug addict, don't hang out with drug addicts. If you're trying to get off of alcohol, don't hang out in a bar, right? You gotta find a good crypto community. There's a lot of great communities out there, and so like Cryptocito, go to his channel, watch his channel. They have Telegram groups. Selman's our technical analysis guy. He has his own. In our group, we're like, you can have your own groups in our group, right? And so it's just that's really important too. And like, so we got a really good compliment about our Discord. Somebody said, what's nice is there's no pump and dumps. People are very calm. They're supporting each other. When someone's panicking, they calm the other person down. So I think that's really important. Like I always give you guys a shout out, man. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have the fundamental strategy that I have, because I learned from you, right? And so I know you wanted to share something. Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah. Let me check if I can. If I can share my screen.
Let me see. Solo layout mute. I think I can. Does it allow you to share it?
Yes.
I think you should be able to share it. Somebody says, who else is smoking Bleezy right now? Who's getting high right now? That's some funny comments, man.
Can you see my screen? Is that sharing or?
It's not sharing yet. No. Let's see. Let's see here. Holding strong SKRP. Let me see. Do I have to do it? Is it showing you like a screen share on there?
I can say which screen I want to share. Let me see.
Edit mics.
Because I'm using Brave as a browser. I'm not sure if it's.
Oh, gotcha.
Because of the browser.
Maybe. You going to Vegas? Yeah, 16th and 17th we'll be in Las Vegas. So we're trying to get Cryptocito down there too. July 17th we'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kevin and I are doing our first meet and greet. So Kevin and I will be down there early with our Warrior Academy, but we're going to be breaking bread with them Thursday, Friday, and then we'll be having our official meet and greet at the Circa Pool and Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada, 11 to 4 p.m. I think it's not in the description yet. We'll put it in the description, but if you go to my Instagram page, Coach JV _ you can click the link in the bio. Go down, get your tickets to the pool though. It's not to meet. Oh, there we go. I can add it to the stream. Boom. There we go.
That's nice.
Yay.
Nice.
That's cool. Yep. So now you'll just whatever you there we go. You got it.
Let me see. Can you see it's Twitter. It's a Twitter tab. Can you see that?
Yep. We can see.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now it shows.
And I can make it so do you want me to make it a full screen? It's a full screen now.
Okay, let's see.
There we go.
Zoom in a little bit. All right, so this is I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but it is the infamous Bitcoin stock to flow model, right? And what that model does it basically puts into relation the supply side of Bitcoin and the demand side, right? Obviously, the demand side is really hard to predict because it fluctuates, it's very volatile, right? But we can see, for example, if you just track like how many new addresses get created on Bitcoin, how many new wallet holders do we have, you can actually see that the demand is growing, right? And you see also increased coverage on mainstream media, on YouTube, right? And everywhere, right? So we're actually seeing on a macro level, the trend is increasing in terms of demand, right? So the supply side of Bitcoin, and that's the great thing, is it's programmed, right? You can't change it. It's code that cannot be changed. It cannot be altered. Now, what this model does, it puts into relation those two things and focuses on one of the main events that always happens every 210,000 blocks in Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin blockchain, and that is the Bitcoin halving, right? So that Bitcoin halving, what it does is it cuts the issuance of new BTC in half, right? And Bitcoin has a block time of 10 minutes, in which at the very beginning, when it first got launched, every 10 minutes, 50 BTC got printed basically from the network and issue it on the open market, right? Through mining, right? That's what we call mining. Now, this was the hyperinflationary phase. And you've seen here in the very beginning, that was when it all started on the bottom left. And now whenever you switch from let me put that actually big here. Whenever we flip from a blue dot to the red dot, this is where the halving occurs. And watch what happens after the halving, right after the halving, right? The price shoots through the roof, right? It always happens up until we go from orange to yellowish, right? In those dots. And one dot actually represents a monthly candle in Bitcoin, so to speak. So as we approach the next halving, which occurred in mid-2016, right? We have the same thing here again. We flip from blue to red, and boom, price goes through the roof, parabolic. We peaked at 20K, yellow dot, right? What happened then? Multi-year bear market. We bottomed out here in, when was that? Like late 2018. We went up in summer 2019, and then we had another bearish phase. Before, in March of, I think it was May 2020, we had the third halving, right? And it was the most previous one, which some of you have even maybe experienced. And the issuance of Bitcoin got cut in half from, I think, 12.5 to 6.25 right now, right? So that means now only 6.25 BTC gets thrown on the market. Means less sell pressure, right? So that's just rough explanation how the model works and what it says. And we can see here that right now, we have been going up again like crazy, right? Like we go all the times after this halving event, but we're not completely in this yellowish dot yet, right? We're still kind of like dark orange. So this model basically suggests, if we trust historic data, of course, it suggests that we still have room to grow, right? And you can see that with another thing that is a chart that is directly correlated to that model. And that is the Bitcoin stock to flow deflection model. And this is all here available on Glassnode, which is an on-chain analytics tool. And if you just look in here, right? I mean, we are now, according to that model, we're completely off track, right? Means that we should actually see a massive price explosion in Bitcoin very soon. And if you look here, for example, and you compare that where we are right now, May 2020, 2021, the Bitcoin stock to flow deflection model actually suggests that we are right now in extreme lows, right? And you can see here compared to 2017, July of 2017, we have also hit a rock bottom here. And watch what happened afterwards. We went through the moon. We went to the roof. We literally went to the moon here. And if you see here, the 2021 run, we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything. We just have been twice slightly above that model, right? Means slightly overbought in relation to that model. So if you believe in the stock to flow model, and it should not of course be the only metrics to consider in order to figure out where do we stand right now. Right. We are completely oversold right now. We are still far off from where we should be, right? And I think that model actually suggests 100K in June or 150K, I think, something like that. But pretty soon, right? And of course, this is not accurate on the date, but I think 6 figures in Bitcoin are very feasible, right? So this is something very cool to look at. And another thing I also wanted to share, just a very basic thing, is this fear and greed index for Bitcoin. And it basically tells us, where do we stand right now, right? This pulls up a lot of social media data and information, right? And historically, over the last week, even last month, right, we have been in fear. And last week, extreme fear. Today, right now, we're in extreme fear, right? 22 is a very low rank. So I think these models and these on-chain analytics and data, actually also, if you look, like I said earlier, new wallets being generated, exchange flows, all those kind of things, we are completely oversold right now. And we're in extreme fear. And whenever there's fear in the markets, guys, you know what you should do, right? You know what to do. So those are the things, those are just one of the few things I'm looking at, and I'm also analyzing, right? And I'm not a Bitcoin kind of like fanatic or maximalist by any means, but I think Bitcoin is still king, right? Bitcoin still gives the direction. And that's why I think it's important to at least be aware of those models, of those analytics sites and tools, because you can extract a lot of value from that sites, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, can you help people understand? There's a lot of people new to crypto. What does oversold mean?
Well, oversold basically means when there's an overreaction that people just panic sell, basically, right? So and you have the same vice versa, right? In December of 2017, Bitcoin was utterly overbought, right? So just a lot of people were FOMO buying out of greed. They were buying Bitcoin at 15, 16K, right? But it didn't hold because there was no market depth. So, but yeah, I think right now we're oversold, and I think there's like, because we're right now at a massive buy zone, right? We've seen it when we went to 30K and we wicked down to 30K or even slightly below that. Immediately it got bought up again because people actually think that 29K, 30K, maybe 26, 27 are extremely cheap entries for Bitcoin, right? So they buy a lot of BTC, and that's where kind of like probably the fair value is.
Right. So somebody said, so basically the difference between like oversold and overbought. So overbought means you better be ready for a rug pull because you're buying, and the whales, we're sitting there going, I'm going to put myself in that category because we'll be whales in the future. Or we're sitting there going, okay, so because that's what an exit plan is all about. We are seeing it go up. We're like, this is not going to continue to go up. So we're going to sell some of our Bitcoin or crypto to you, right? It would be XRP, XLM for me, Ethereum, right? We're going to sell some to you as you get really excited. And then the rug's going to get pulled from you. Then it becomes oversold because then you panic sell, right? So then you're panic selling, and then we buy it back up when you panic sell. And then the flow just keeps going over and over again. And one thing that I want to encourage people to is, this is just my sentiment, is as regulation comes in, I think so for example, the stock market, if you see a 3%, 4% drop in the stock market, it's like catastrophic, right? In the crypto market, we got to be ready for 20%, 30%. We saw 50% pullback. At some point, that volatility is going to start to level out, right? It's not going to be constant. So in order, the reason why I bring that up is because if you really understand the game, you can make really, really crazy fantasy economic type money right now. But at some point, do you agree that will start to stabilize itself as the market becomes more legitimized?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, as more institutions, more whales, more masses join that space, means also we need more exchanges, we need more liquidity, we need more diversification, right? And it also brings the stability that you're saying, right? I mean, look at Uniswap. It's a decentralized exchange that exists already for a couple of years, but it only gained traction around this time a year ago, right? And it has higher trading volumes than Coinbase. Wow. And it came out of nowhere. I mean, it was there before, but it kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. So I think we're going to see more and more of those decentralized exchanges as well, hopefully decentralized exchanges, because that's actually the whole point of crypto, right? Is to hold self-custody. And if you hold your coins or trade your coins on Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken, you're actually giving them your private keys to manage it for you, right? And to conduct the trade for you. But that's just on a side note. And yeah, I think, as we have more players joining the space, more funds buying up Bitcoin, and holding Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Not just trading and speculating with it, but actually seeing long-term value, actually thinking like, okay, this is something that I believe in 10, 20, 30 years from now is going to have more purchasing power.
Yes.
If we have more people understanding this, that in the long run, it's actually designed to be exactly that, the more market depth we have, the more price stability we have, and the less people, probably also get entirely wrecked and wiped out, like what we've seen last week.
Yeah, and one thing to think about too is just looking at age groups. Like, so you have the baby boomers, right? Baby boomers are going to start dying off. I mean, that's a fact, right? They're going to start dying off. And the baby boomers are the hardest people to transition in the crypto space. Like my mom, for example, my mom still writes actual physical checks. My mom's in crypto though, because of me, and she's crushing it in crypto. She's doing awesome. But my mom is a great example. My mom's a baby boomer, right? They've had the same house. They're savers. So that group of people, that another thing to look at futuristically for long-term holders is that group of people is going to be dying off, and the new ecosystem, the new generation is going to be coming up, and this is going to be part of a new way of life. It's a new asset class, right? And so if you really do have a fundamental portfolio and you're able to hold long-term, try not to touch your bags if you can. Like for example, my exit strategy is based on building generational wealth. When I pull money out, right, I'm actually putting in something that's going to generate income. We're going to buy more companies. I'm actually looking at, this is kind of off topic, but I'm going all around this, but I was thinking about this. Like, I'm going to buy a Lambo, right? Lamborghini. And so, but the reason, there's two things to that. Number one, I'm going to do a flipping strategy. But gas cars, the sound of the engine are going to be collector's items in the future because we're going to electric cars. So if you have a supercar that's got the gas engine, right, you can have that as a collector's item in the future. So there's all kinds of things to think about futuristically that could build, that are called, wealth preservation. That could be a wealth preservation tool. Not that I'm saying buying a car is a wealth preservation tool, but that's the way people were trying to get warriors to think, is wealth preservation. How do you preserve your wealth, right? That's why corporations, institutions are going into Bitcoin, because say you're making all this profit. If you're dropping it into the fiat dollar that has zero value, like that's not wealth preservation. That's literally like suicide. You're putting it into something that's going to collapse. So, but
yeah, it's true. And we've seen, that's not like what you're saying. It's not just hypothetically, it's actually historically, we have proven evidence for that, right?
Yep.
And the most recent one is Venezuela or Argentina. I just talked to a guy, I interviewed him on my channel as well. It doesn't have many clicks, but it's also, it's a kind of like very educational video on what's going on in Latin America right now. Wow. So people are not too much interested in that. They're rather interested in what is the next Shiba Inu coin, right? Yes. But I encourage everybody to check that one out. It's very interesting, like how he talks about, for example, the use case for USDT, right? So we're being in crypto, we consider stable coins, and we talked about it a lot, I think 2 weeks ago. We consider stable coins as the ultimate hedge against the price volatility, right? So when we cash out in crypto, we cash out into stable coins, right? Because it doesn't have the price risks. Yeah. People in Latin America see a whole different use case in stable coins. They see stable coins as a blessing, as a hedge against their own national currency, number one. And number two, very important, to conduct payments and remittances, right? Because there's extremely strict capital controls in Venezuela, in Argentina now, in Chile, in all those countries, right? In Brazil. And for them to swap locally into a stable coin, send that stable coin to a family member in Venezuela or in Mexico or in Chile, who can then cash it out there through local Bitcoins, for example, right? That's a blessing for them, man. And this is a whole different use case, right? That's like how crypto really helps people on ground to improve their daily lives, right? That goes way beyond just speculating on the price. And that's also what I'm really fascinated about crypto, is because not just about making money. Sure, that's great. We all love it. I'm really excited for another 10x, for my portfolio. I'm going to celebrate with some champagne or whatever. But also that aspect, and I think we should not forget that, is like how the small guys, like the really small guys, they literally don't even have a bank account, how the unbanked are benefiting from that. So I think that's the beauty of crypto. It's for everyone. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about borders. It doesn't care about skin color. It doesn't care about religion. It doesn't care about anything. It's just there. It just works, and it's beautiful. So, yeah.
You brought up a really good point. Okay, so I want to go a little bit further on that. So you talk about that's why central banks are going to get involved, Warriors. That's why central banks are all going to have a CBDC. Please don't think your central bank is not going to have a central bank digital currency. Number two is they understand what decentralized finance. So I did my first DeFi loan to practice. I couldn't believe it. I'm an ex-banker. Okay, profiling happens. Just so you guys know, if I walk into a bank with my hair down, looking like this, I look like a homeless person half the time. If I walk into a bank, there is profiling happening. They're immediately judging me based on what I look like when I walk in. That happens. It's just human behavior, right? They sit down. You got to fill out an application. They got to look at your credit. They got to look at your debt to income ratio. They look at your transaction. I literally did a DeFi loan like that. I was like, I did it to practice. I couldn't believe I got access to $10,000 like that. I could and in seconds, like literally seconds, I couldn't believe it. And banks understand, they are scared shitless of that. And so like, that's why governments are getting involved in crypto. They need to be part of the infrastructure so they can somehow control that flow, right? Somehow they can tax it, they can monitor it. So that's when people say, oh, crypto is going to collapse to zero, like it's going to go away, it's going to get wiped out. I'm like, where can you even rationalize? You can't even like, I would love to have an educated conversation with somebody about that, because how can you even rationalize that? They can't get rid of crypto. They can't, right?
I mean, the thing is, people are scared for everything that's new, right? Everything that's completely new, people are like, I think maybe that's how our brain works, right? We're like, immediately we feel threatened by it.
Yes.
Right? For example, if you, I don't know, what would be an example? An analogy would be, for example, if I see a girl in the street and I tap her from behind and I say hi, she's going to be scared, right? Yeah. But if I knew her friend before and her friend told me that, hey, you're going to meet this guy later at 3 p.m. in the town, she's already prepared, right? So with crypto, it's taking a lot of people by surprise, not just the banks and the governments and all those institutions, but also retailers, right? So people are scared from that. People think that, they try to rationalize or explain why crypto is a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just like how humans work, emotional thing.
Yeah, 100%.
But I like that example that you said about the loan thing. And I was actually thinking, like around a year ago, 1.5 years ago, I was thinking like, oh man, like, if we are in a bull run, I'm gonna buy I'm gonna buy real estate. I'm gonna buy stocks. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy that. But now seeing how DeFi emerged, that you can literally take loans, you can generate cash flow, you can create derivatives, you can do so many things in crypto DeFi. You don't even have to exit crypto anymore.
You don't.
And you don't even have price volatility anymore. You don't have that risk anymore. It's even riskier to hold money on your bank account in 2021 than to hold self-custody in your own wallet and generate yield with it through a smart contract, right? Maybe there's smart contract risk, of course, but Aave, Compound, all those protocols have been proven to work and to be secure.
Yes.
Staking itself, you can stake your coins. You can generate income by staking your coins, right? Yeah. There's so many cool things, and I'm at a point right now where I don't even know what I should do with euros.
That's how I am, man. Yeah.
What should I do?
Yeah, if we didn't have to pay our business bills and fiat, like I'm literally like, as soon as money hits my bank account, I buy crypto. Like I have very few bills. Like I have some high interest rate debt that I'm paying off from when we got shut down the pandemic. I'm admitted, I talk about my whole financial situation. I used some high interest rate credit card to keep the business open, to pay my employees, until we got it back up and running, and we almost collapsed. But I'm literally like, I sat on that high interest rate debt. I put all my money into crypto, and now by July I'll be completely debt free. I've tons of cash flow, and every time cash comes in, I put it into crypto. And then when I found Cryptocito, when I found DeFi, because I'm an ex-banker and I couldn't even rationalize it, and when I did, so I went to Nexo, I staked some Ethereum, I got a loan, and I was like, okay, now I had a loan, I had capital, free capital, and I'm like, very low interest, cheap money, and I was like, okay, can I buy more crypto? And I bought more crypto with it, and I was like, and I was able to flip the crypto. I'm like, I just used free money to buy more crypto. And I was strategic with, now you can get liquidated if you do it incorrectly. I wouldn't recommend that. But what I'm saying is that's what the banks do. They lend your money out. And I'm like, so we literally get to do what the banks do for us for years, the fractional reserve lending. Like you can take a fraction of your crypto and take it and it's wild, man. And I'm like, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the whole DeFi, because like I don't think people realize how disruptive that is.
Yeah, and I think Bitcoin makes you your own central bank.
Yep.
And DeFi makes you your own commercial bank, right?
Oh, that's a great way to look at it. Wow.
Yeah, and you can just can, like, everything that commercial banks do gets disrupted through DeFi. It's as simple as that. And it's already, I mean, right now we're still very early, right? You gotta be really careful.
Yep.
A lot of those smart contracts are not audited. They're from anonymous developers, right? And I sometimes take the risk, you know, and try it out because I want to try it out, right? And I'm learning a lot along the way. Sometimes I talk about it. Mostly I don't talk about it because I don't want people to just, you know, catch something up and put money in, because I know most people are like that. But sometimes I do talk about it, and sometimes you know, people also play around with it, and I think it's a great thing, because not just about making money aspect, but also about learning how those things work, learning how money circulates, you know, in crypto and DeFi. So I think it's a cool thing. I also recommend everybody at least once try to provide liquidity on Uniswap. And just that feeling that you have a pool there that people trade with your pairs and you earn fees from that is amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I'm glad that you said that too, where you're not just throwing stuff out there. Like I told my warriors, I did this. So I'll give you an example of a couple mistakes I've made. You know, I got liquidated in a, when I was providing liquidity in yield farming. So I got liquidated one time doing that. And then so just to be honest with you guys, I did the Nexo. I did a loan on Nexo with Ethereum, and then the market collapsed. And I was like, oh shit. And so it went, so I was like, okay. So I learned my lesson. I basically, they start taking from your portfolio, right? Because it went below the value of and it was interesting. I'm like, okay, so I learned from that.
I think we lost coach. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, I think coach is off. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is really like DeFi is really going to replace a lot of things in that space, guys. And I really encourage everybody to play around with it as we're waiting for coach to get back here. But yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, crypto is just so much more than just speculating on the token price, speculating on the token tickers. There's so many ways you can generate cash flow in that. There's so many ways that you can also learn about how money works, how finance works. It's amazing. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just wait for him to come back here. Somebody's saying, don't forget Algo. Yeah, I made a deep dive on Algorand a while ago, and the feedback was really amazing. Algorand is a really good coin I'm looking at. Also Cosmos. I think Cosmos just announced that they're now partnering with a bank in Korea, with the Han Bank. So they're also going to explore central bank digital currencies. And I've talked about this with Coach as well. He's just typing, the system is down. But we've talked about this a lot as well. And I think CBDCs, guys, you gotta really dig into CBDCs, because I think CBDCs are going to, like we said earlier, consult the crypto space and also probably even build on public infrastructure that is already out there, right? Algorand is one of them. Algorand already has a partnership with the Marshall Islands, I guess, for their CBDC. And it's just amazing. It's just saying the system went down. Let's see what other questions there are that I can answer. Can you explain how to exit out? Please explain exit strategy. Yeah, so I mean, we talked about this a lot, and I think also Coach he made a really good like actual plan, an actual sheet for that, an actual Excel sheet, a cheat sheet, you know, how you can opt out. But my learning is always, and my plan is, my strategy is to dollar cost average out as a dollar cost average in, right? So set yourself price targets that you think are realistically TA based, but also fundamentally based. Try to catch, obviously, you know, good trades, but don't get stuck on your portfolio value, right? I remember back in 2017, I made this huge mistake where I was just waiting for my portfolio to hit a magic number, which never happened, right? Because I was just looking at my portfolio only, but really try to get a broad perspective on the entire market, on the entire crypto space, and set yourself price targets. Set yourself price targets. Never sell everything. That's also a huge mistake that I sometimes made in the past, is to sell everything. And then I find myself a few weeks later seeing that this coin went up another 10, 20x, right? So keep that magic moon back. That's always the most important thing. Keep the moon back, because you never know what these coins do, right? Maybe somehow they start flying. Maybe Elon starts tweeting about them. Even with Dogecoin, I just had a friend, I met a guy here. He sold all his Dogecoin literally 2 weeks before Elon started to talk about it. So never sell everything. And I think Coach is coming back. But yeah, never sell everything. Have a game plan, have price targets, and you'll do fine. And don't panic sell bottoms, guys. Don't panic sell bottoms. That's the most important. Yeah, it's reconnecting. Not your coin if you don't hold the keys. Freedom first, guide. Man, that's exactly what's up. That's exactly what's up. And that's why I always recommend to hold self-custody. If you keep your coins on centralized exchanges, they're holding the keys for you, right? They hold the keys for you. They hold your custody, and it's not recommended to do, right? Because you never know, they can get hacked. Binance got hacked in summer 2019 for 6,000 Bitcoins. Binance obviously has the resources to cover such losses, but other small exchanges maybe don't. And if you want to buy a smaller coin, probably that is not listed on Binance or Coinbase or Kraken, you probably have to go through a small exchange. And if that exchange gets hacked and they don't have the funds to cover those losses, you're wrecked. Your money's gone, right? So yeah, it's as simple as that. I think his connection is off again. Pity. What are your thoughts on Dogecoin? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, fundamentally, on a technical level, Dogecoin doesn't really have much to show. It's not innovative in a sense. It's a fork of Litecoin, and Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. So it's kind of like a copy of a copy. And over the past 2 or 3 years, there has not been any fundamental technical innovation there, right? I think there has been very low GitHub activity. You can actually look that up on github.com. You can see, if you just type in Dogecoin on the top right, you can see the repositories there, and you can see how much code do they actually add and publish and you know, write. And there's not too much, to be honest, on Dogecoin. So they haven't resolved the scalability trilemma, which means security, decentralization, and scalability. Pick two, right? That's the current stage. They haven't resolved that, which means that if Dogecoin would have mass adoption, it would not be really suited for payments either, right? And plus, it has an open inflation, right? I think every single day, millions of Doge gets printed. But the big plus is that Elon is pumping it like crazy, and he doesn't stop. I think he's really serious about it. But I do think that at one point he's coming to the conclusion that it's extremely hard to change the fundamentals of a project that has a multi-billion-dollar evaluation, right? It's really hard to change that because there's already so much economic value in it, huge community, a lot of people, and they don't want to, do what Elon wants, right? A lot of Dogecoin whales, they actually don't care about Elon. They just, they just see this still as a joke, right? So yeah, I'm not holding Doge. I'm not investing in it. I don't recommend it. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Let me see where Coach is. He's texting me. Yeah, he's saying I will have to end. He's not able to get back in. I wouldn't say Doge is a long-term buy. Not really. I mean, like I said, I think Elon will come to the conclusion that Doge, you can't change the fundamentals of Doge, right? Just look at Ethereum. They can't just change Ethereum like that. It actually takes many, many years because it's such a huge project already, well established, and you can't just change fundamentals of a project like that. Oh, there we go.
We're back. Our whole internet collapsed, guys. So it's the blackout. It's the blackout. Just kidding. So I had to log onto my phone, so I don't know how long it's gonna last. But can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
You were in a bear market. You were in a bear market.
The bear market. I was buying the dip, man.
Yeah, you bought the dip. Now you're back on. That's what's up.
Yeah, we shut off our internet. We used that money to buy more crypto. No,
yeah, that's cool, man. No, I was just freestyling a little bit through the questions here.
Love it.
Talk about Dogecoin and exit strategies. I got to ask a lot, so I referred them to you because I know you have the whole Excel sheet template and cheat sheet, for exit strategies. So.
Yep. If you click the link down below, click in the description, you can join our private warrior academy. So we have exit strategies, access to my portfolio. We're not financial advisors. We work out with you live daily, subconscious mind programming, goal setting, vision board creation. We have a crypto Discord, technical analysis calls, crypto calls. It's one of the best communities out there. And then we got the coolest people in the world like Cryptocito, Selman. It's an awesome group. Well, Warriors, we've gone an hour. I know we took a lot of time for Cryptocito. I always want to say thank you with so much gratitude to you and just the teachings that you've given us. You're such a gracious person, man, spending your time helping our community. So anything last you'd like to say to the community?
No, I got to thank you for having me on here. Obviously it's always great to interact also with your community. I like that spontaneous Q&A session. I think maybe next time we can also answer some more questions there. There's actually very good questions there about a lot of projects. I saw also a lot of people asked about XRP, and I know you pushing out a lot of content on XRP every single day almost. It's crazy how much content you're pushing out there. But yeah, I recommend that. And if you want to learn about other projects, I'm talking mostly about Cosmos, Atom. It's my favorite coin. And also Hedera Hashgraph. They also made a news recently. So if you want some other flavors mixed into the crypto jungle, you can also follow me on YouTube. Also on Twitter, I'm really active there as well. Same at Cryptocito, same thing. And yeah, that said, thanks for having me on, man. Really love you and love these shows. And thanks for having me.
Everything's down here. You got Cryptocito. And you also have your own, you can also custody, right? What is a crypto? You have your own project going on right now, right?
I don't have my own project. I have I started a Telegram group, but this is just for, engagement, just,
cool.
Sharing some views. And I actually renamed it today. I think I should mention that it's called Cryptocitos with an S at the back, Cryptocitos _friends and FRENS, friends. That's a crypto term for the crypto bugs out there. So if you want to join that, we just talk about, whatever comes to our mind, and TA and FA and new projects, new coins and all those kind of things.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, man.
So I think what we'll do next time is we'll do a half an hour discussion and we'll answer some questions. You want to do that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, would be cool. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Love you, brother.
Man.
We'll talk to you.
Take care. See you.
Warriors. Right. Let's go.